Hi, my name is Allison, and tonight I'm going to be showing you my skincare routine. So I'm fresh out of the shower, so I've already done my cleansing, but I will show you what I use and how I use it. My first step is always to use the Skin Better cleansing gel, and I really like this because I prefer gel consistency, but this gets every shred of makeup off. I don't really wear a lot of makeup, but I do always use a lot of sunscreen, and when I do wear makeup, it can typically be a little bit harder for me to get off because I do like to wear more waterproof products. Um, so this really takes off every little bit of makeup, and it's super gentle. You can use it after any abrasive like skin treatments. You can use it after microneedling. It's safe to use like after getting laser treatments. As always, check with your dermatologist or esthetician or nurse practitioner about it. But generally, this was made for the most sensitive of skin. So I love using this in winter as well, just because it's so gentle, and sometimes I really can't handle anything else. So most nights I will also go in and do my second cleanse with the Skin Better Oxygen Infusion Wash. And to use this, I generally have my skin a little bit damp, and then I put one pump in my hands, and my hands are a little bit damp as well, and I work it into a lather, and you really want to see those bubbles. And then I spread it evenly over my face, work it in a little, and then I usually let it sit for about 60 seconds to 3 minutes. And that's really just gonna allow the oxygen to kind of work and get into your pores. And it does have a little bit of alpha hydroxy acid in the form of lactic acid that's gonna be slowly releasing throughout the day to really like smooth that skin texture. I do have some duller skin, so I like to have a little bit of that. It's not harsh at all. I can generally use this every day, and I usually have pretty sensitive skin. It is getting towards winter, so I probably will use this more once a day or 3 times a week. But generally, this is also pretty gentle for me, and I really love this one. This helps a lot for me with blackheads. And if I have any sort of breakout, I'm definitely going to be using this. Next, when my skin's still kind of warm out of the shower and it's a little bit damp, I love to go in, after I wash that off, I love to go in with the SkinCeuticals Hyaluronic Acid Infuser or Intensifier. So I typically do about this much, and I work it into my hands. And since I started this video, my skin has dried off a little bit, so I'm going to re-wet it so that the hyaluronic acid has something. Hyaluronic acid works to bond water molecules and can hold up to 1,000 times its weight in water. So I'm gonna work it into my fingers, and then I'm just gonna gently spread it around my skin. I typically like to do a little face massage as I do it and work it in upward motions. It is a little bit thicker. However, when I put it on top of damp skin, it really absorbs pretty quickly. And I feel like it creates a great canvas for me to use the rest of my skincare products. So I typically like to end by pressing it into the skin to really make sure it's absorbing. After I do that, I go in with my IMAX Alpha Red Overnight eye cream. I love this one. My chief complaint about my skin, besides texture, is the dark circles under my eyes. My skin is pretty sensitive to how I sleep that night, and I typically am a lighter sleeper, so darker circles are an issue for me. I do love using this. It does have retinol in it and vitamin C, so it's going to be very brightening. And I typically put this on my ring finger because your ring finger is the weakest of your fingers, so you're going to apply it really gently along the orbital bone. And then I kind of tap it in. You really don't need much. I also like to put a little bit up here as well. Although it does have retinol in it, it is formulated for your eye area and is typically much gentler than regular retinol. I've never had an issue with my eyes drying out from this, but if it was the morning and I was doing my morning skincare routine, I would use my SkinCeutical Age Eye Age Eye Complex. I love this one. It's super hydrating. This also works to target dark circles with vitamin C, caffeine. So this has a really nice creamy consistency. Feels really nice on the skin. I typically use this every morning. I do have a gel eye cream as well. I typically could carry it in my purse just because sometimes I forget to put eye cream on, and then if I do, then I have it right in my purse and I can apply it later. So now that hyaluronic acid serum has really set in and my skin is ready for the next product, I'm going to go in with my Alto Advanced Defense and Repair Serum. This is my vitamin C and antioxidant. This one is great. So antioxidants are going to prevent the oxidation and help with free radicals on your skin. So free radicals can accelerate the aging process, and this is going to be a defense against them. I typically like to go in kind of like massaging motions, again pressing it into the skin. As I said, this has vitamin C, so this is going to be really brightening. I do have some hyperpigmentation from old acne scars. And although I wear sunscreen, I'm pretty sensitive to sun exposure because I do use retinol. So if I'm in the sun at all, I'm definitely going to be a little bit pink, even using like SPF 50. I also flush when I have alcohol or am embarrassed or lots of different reasons, heat. So that's really going to help with that as well. And then after I do that, is my favorite step is going to be the Skin Better Even Tone Correcting Serum. Now, my hyperpigmentation is one of my biggest concerns, and I had really not found much that would help with that. I was prescribed hydroquinone, but it was really intense for my skin. I probably wasn't using it exactly correctly and didn't give it enough time, but I really like gentler products on my skin, gentle but effective, and this was great. This compared to a 4% hydroquinone serum in clinical trials and delivered just as good as results, and I can use this every day. Hydroquinone you really can only be on for about 3 months at a time, and then you kind of have to cycle through it. But this one I use about a pump, and I've seen such a decrease in redness since I started using this. I also just love the consistency. Everything from Skin Better is fragrance free, so you're not going to have that irritation from fragrance. I'm pretty sensitive to fragrance, so I typically only use products that don't have those formulated in. Again, gonna press it in. I like to work upward as well, just to encourage lift. I just turned 30, so I'm doing everything I can to keep things lifted. And now, after I do that, I also love these because they are a vacuum pump, so you know your product's gonna be like as good as it can. It's not gonna lose its efficacy. Typically vitamin C is pretty unstable, so I love that they have this not only in opaque packaging, but that it's a vacuum pump. Before I was using this, I was putting my vitamin C in the fridge, which also can help your product last longer and retain its potency. But I'm a little lazy. I would have to go downstairs to go get it. So I love having this in a vacuum pump. It's also, when I travel, it spills a lot less, or it doesn't spill at all, which is great. And it's not glass, so I can drop it and it's not gonna break, which happens often. Now I'm going to go in with my retinol. I love using the Intensive Alpha Ret Overnight Cream from Skin Better. I switched to this from tretinoin, and I did that because I just tolerated this a lot better. I was on a pretty high percentage of tretinoin. I still use it occasionally. I use the tretinoin 0.1%, and I just use a pea-size amount, and I do that maybe once per week. But typically I use the Intensive Alpha Ret Overnight Cream from Skin Better. If you are new to retinols, you would want to go with the regular Alpha Ret. It's still great. It still has the same amount of retinol in it, the same percentage. I believe it's 10%. but with the Intensive Alpha Red Overnight Cream, you're also going to get a higher percentage of glycolic acid in here, so it's going to help resurface your skin as well. And the way they formulated it, you typically don't use retinol and AHAs together, but this one is totally safe to use together. I don't have any irritation from it. I just use one pump. I typically use this nightly, but if I'm feeling a little drier, I won't. Smooth it over. And press it in. Now my lips, typically I would wait till the end, but my lips are feeling pretty dry. So I am going to go in with the Hyaluronic Acid Lip Booster from PCA. This again is hyaluronic acid, but formulated for your lips. I'm typically not a gloss person, but this is really nice. It's got somewhere between a gloss and a balm consistency. It's clear, so I can layer it over any other lip products because I typically do like to use a little bit of lip color. I like to let my Alpha Red sit for a moment and kind of dry so I can apply that next layer. So I'm gonna go in and do my lash routine. I use the Revitalash Advanced. I don't like wearing mascara and I don't have the patience to get false eyelashes. So I like to go in and really work on keeping my lashes long and healthy. And I don't experience any irritation from this. But I get compliments on my lashes all the time. I love having long lashes. When I do wear mascara, it looks really nice. So I use that every single night. I've been using that for probably a year now. As my last step, I'm gonna go in with my Skin Better Trio Rebalancing Moisture Treatment. I use this morning and night. I use about a pump to a pump and a half. And this one I'm really, because I don't want any of my products to pill, and they typically don't, I'm just gonna go in and pat it. I'm not gonna do any like intense rubbing. Really just gonna pat it in. And that is my full skincare routine. A couple nights a week, I will go in with my NuFace as well. I use the gel primer. I typically do this first because I like all my other products so much that even though this can be left on, it kind of just worked into the skin as a hydrating product. I typically rinse or wipe it off after just because I want all my other products to penetrate. But I go through about 5 times in lifting motions around the jawbone, around the cheekbone, around the eye, and then in upwards directions across the forehead. And then just move to the other side. And I typically do work a little bit around my lips and my nasolabial folds as well. I'm gonna skip this tonight just because I did it last night. But that is my full skincare routine. And really the only thing I do differently is I use the, in the morning is I use the SkinCeuticals Age Eye Complex instead of my IMAX Alpha Red Overnight Eye Cream. And then I'm not going to use my Intensive Alpha Red Overnight Cream in the morning. I'm going to skip that entirely. But otherwise, I go in just with my gentle cleansing gel. Go in with my Alto Advanced. I will put in some of the hyaluronic acid serum before I use my vitamin C and antioxidant if I'm feeling a little dry. But then I go with the Even Tone Correcting Serum, and then straight to my Trio Rebalancing Moisture. I really love all those products. I feel like it's cleared my skin a lot. My skin is generally pretty balanced now that I've started using all of this. But yeah, I am ready for bed and my skin routine is completely done. So thanks so much for watching and joining me on my night routine. Have a good night.